Good evening, and welcome to the April 25th, 2016 meeting of the Wakefield Board of Selectmen. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the regular board minutes from April 11th?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Paul. We also need a motion and a second to approve the executive minutes from April 11th as well.
So moved.
Moved by Betsy, second by Paul. All in favor of both
Aye.
minutes? Aye. Great. Seeing as no one is signed up for public participation, we are going to move to something that we talked about doing, Steve, certainly with the departments in town and Action Ambulance, to honor our first responders that we're so grateful to have, and such great responders in each police, fire, and Action Ambulance. So we wanted to declare a proclamation for all of you. And what was important is that we didn't just have the chief of police or the fire chief or the head of Action Ambulance come up. We wanted people that were worked the lines and that responded and getting dirty and nitty and gritty and all of that. And you see the best and worst of us in Wakefield. So I'm just going to read one of the proclamations that applies to all of you. But I need these first. We, the members of the Board of Selectmen of the town of Wakefield, bestow the following: that first responders are a diverse group of professionals from across the country with backgrounds in police, fire, and medical services, among others. That these selfless individuals are prepared to assist the residents of Wakefield at a moment's notice, often putting their own lives in danger to help others. That first responders are instrumental in saving those who have been injured, protecting property, and shepherding bystanders to safety. And it is important that all citizens of Wakefield know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices made by their first responders. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of the town of Wakefield, at today's meeting on April 25th, 2016, call upon all citizens of Wakefield and all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of April 25th, 2016 through May 1st, 2016 as First Responder Week in Wakefield, Mass. So we wanted to just honor you all, and I'm sure other members of the board will chime in, but I'm married to a police officer, and I think thanking your families is also important because they go through as much as you do often in the work you do. So thank you very much for all the work you do for our citizens. Yep, Pat.
I know that there's others here who have family members that were public safety officials, and myself, I had a relative who was a firefighter, and so hats off to all you guys. Wakefield is so lucky to have all you guys. Not only are you all dedicated, but you have great leadership, and I know the perception around town is we're fortunate. You hope you never have to call, but if you do, just look around and you know, there'll be help there within minutes, within seconds in some cases. And I'll reiterate the leadership. We have top-notch leadership here, and keeps the town out of trouble and keeps us safe. So thank you all, including the leaders.
Just real quick, I as well have family and friends, close friends, that are first responders. And I have tremendous respect for what you folks do every day. When everybody's running away from the harm, you guys are running towards it. And that takes a lot of guts. So thank you for that.
Perfect.
You're welcome.
That's
As the mother of a firefighter here in Wakefield, I found that when she first got on the force, I got rid of the scanner. I couldn't stand it because every time I heard it, I'd say, oh my God, something's going to happen to them. So I ditched it, and I have it at home if anyone wants. But I know the men and women on both the police and the fire and on the ambulance crew do a very top-notch job. And the leadership starts at the head with the two chiefs that are here, Chief Sullivan, Chief Smith, and the gentleman from Action Ambulance. So as Tiz said, when we're running away, you're running towards it. So thank you very much. Yeah.
If you could please introduce yourselves and then introduce the folks from your department that you brought.
I'm Lieutenant Sardella from Wakefield Fire, obviously, and Timmy Donovan back there, and of course Chief Sullivan we know. So
Great, thank you.
Officer Rando with the Wakefield Police Department. I'm here with Chief Smith, Lieutenant Scory, and Officer Powers hidden over there in the back.
Okay, thank you.
Mike Baranka from Action Ambulance Service, and
We had a pretty big group here, so I'll just keep it brief and say thanks to everybody for attending and let you know that you're appreciated here in the town of Wakefield is a big thing for us. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
Great job.
All right, we have the proclamations for Steve can present.
Betsy.
Thank you all for coming down.
Applause.
Sure, it's always in order.
Excellent. Thank you. And if you guys want to scoot out, you certainly can. The rest of our meeting will not be as exciting. Thank you so much for everything.
Right.
Smile.
I'll be taking my seat again.
You see, they did make you speak.
But we let you take your helmet off.
It's called coercion.
Thank you. Thank you. And Alicia, if you could take the seat? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Tough act to follow.
So we're going to move to our first personnel and appointment. And Alicia, I'm also going to have you stay, and we'll jump to the approval of the Memorial Day ceremony.
Oh, yes.
So we can take care of both.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If you could please introduce yourself. We know you, but who you brought and explain.
Yes. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I don't know how I ended up having to follow that, but that's going to be really hard. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I have with me Pedro Brito, and I had sent out a little bit of information on Pedro. He is the new temporary Veteran Services Officer for the district. And so if it's okay, I'm just going to read a little blurb that I prepared. That way I don't trip over my words. So as some of you may know, Ryan McLean, who has served as the Director of Veteran Services for the past 3 years, has been called up for National Guard active duty, and he is once again serving our country. We do not have an exact length of time that he will be gone. We're estimating 6 months to a year, but that could change at any time, and he could be back next Friday, which would make this whole thing really awkward. But we wish him well and know that he will be back as soon as he possibly can. In the meantime, we've come up with a comprehensive coverage plan in order to make sure that all 3 towns in the district continue to run smoothly and continue to have veteran services presence at all times. With that being said, this is Pedro Brito. A little bit about him. He served 9 years as an equipment operator in the Navy, just like me. Awesome, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He served as the main training officer and just recently completed his bachelor's degree in history with the intention of becoming a high school history teacher once this appointment concludes. So with that, I will toss over to Pedro here, and he can take it up.
Hello, my name is Pedro. So as Alicia said, I'm going to be taking over what her position was as she moves up. And I'm really excited to be here and, offer my services to the community and help the veterans community in any way, shape, or form that I can. This is something I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy giving back to people. And I've in my time in the Navy, I've tried to really help people as they transition in and out of the military. And I think this is another step that I can take to, help out.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
So just to,
Yep,
just to touch on how we're actually going to be working the coverage, I've moved into the director role and will be in Melrose primarily with at least 1 day in Wakefield, and then Pedro will be taking my 2nd day in Wakefield to also cover the office at that point. However, we are both holding meetings at any location for any residents of any of the district to make sure that we're kind of fluid. It's not a concrete schedule where we can't shift.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, welcome, absolutely, and I wish you well. Thank you very much for introducing Pedro to us.
Thank you for having me.
Do we, no, just introduction. And so if you could just talk about Memorial Day.
Yes, I would love to talk about Memorial Day. Notes for
And
that,
we're
too.
moving to 5C, folks, the presentation and action item, just so Alicia can wrap it up.
Thank you. So in a partnership with the Wakefield Advisory Board, the Public Safety Department, the Department of Public Works, as well as other key stakeholders in the community, we have recently voted to bring to your approval the idea of scaling back the Memorial Day Parade in lieu of doing a larger, more grandiose ceremony. The idea is to do a 1 p.m. ceremony still in front of the World War II monument, just like we always do. And instead of doing just kind of our keynote and our opening and closing, we're also gonna have our book dedication. We got books to donate to every elementary school in the city, so we're gonna make that part of it. We also have a larger emphasis on the youth in the community, because that's been a huge point of mind for this year, is education and outreach. So we have the wind ensemble coming in from Wakefield High, and they're gonna do an expanded musical program. We're gonna have representatives from each of the elementary schools, as well as the BB Public Library, who will also be receiving books. And hopefully they will come out, we'll do a reading of the book in conjunction with the rest of the ceremony. What I've requested is that we close off Common and Main Streets during the time of the ceremony, because we would expect a much larger gathering this year than in years past, due to the fact that we have much more youth participating, and that's our focus. And then, right, so it's Common, so the V. In this packet that I had passed out are the suggested road closures. Which would basically be Common and Main, and then the access roads to Common and Main.
Oh, no, I have that, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So the reason that we had brought up this option is after some concerns were shared by parents and marchers in last year's parade that it may be a safety hazard. We had had a couple of near misses with traffic not paying attention to the road closures and coming out, and near misses with students almost getting clipped by cars. As a matter of fact, our own music director was clipped by somebody's mirror not too long ago doing this parade. So just out of sheer concern for the people participating in the parade, as well as any drivers on the road, we feel that it would be more appropriate to move it up to the Common, where it's a more controlled environment and we can really guarantee the safety of all our participants.
Any questions for Alicia?
Do you need a vote on this, or? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the road closures as outlined by Director Redden in her memorandum dated 4/25/2016.
Second.
Any discussion? No? And I assume that this has been run by the police and Steve and all that?
Yes, copied on this would also be the DPW director.
Sure.
Chief Smith has also received it, and we're still mapping out, there's also a secondary graph here of where we believe the cameras will be, where the tent will be, things like that, which we're still firming up, but it's been through all of the stages before we brought it to you tonight to make sure that everybody was comfortable with it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent, sounds great.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Is that Alicia has done a fabulous job. You know, we're gonna miss Ryan, but we will continue on. And, you know, when you go into a collaboration, you always worry about this, but not what's gonna happen. But we're not gonna miss a beat in servicing the veterans, and what a difference from 5 years ago. You know, now, you know, involving the schools. I've had the ability to go to the schools with Alicia, and really starting these kids young and getting them to understand, you know, what is a veteran. These are the real heroes out there. So it's been a great job, and I think this will be another testament to using that wonderful Upper Common Veteran Memorial Park and putting this together. So.
And if you correspond with Ryan, please pass on our hopes that he returns safely home. And welcome, Mr. Brito, and
Thank you.
you know, thank you for your service too.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Thank
much.
you. All right,
Excellent.
take care. Okay, moving on to our next appointment, which would be 4B. We need one appointment to the Advisory Board of Public Works, and we have 3 names in front of us. Yes, Phyllis?
I checked very carefully all the resumes for this appointment to the Advisory Board of Public Works, and I would like the Board of Selectmen to consider, because of his background and everything, to consider David West for this appointment. Now, I do know that James Lapry is on this board, but, you know, it has always been my consensus that we have to give new people the opportunity to come in and get on these boards, because if they don't, we don't know what they can do. And the fact that Mr. Lapry is already on the building committee, I would like us to have somebody new come in with because this man has an excellent background for this job. And I would like to have the rest of the board consider appointing him to this advisory board.
Would you like to make a motion, Phyllis?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint David A. West to the Advisory Board of Public Works.
Okay. Any second?
I'll second that motion.
Great.
Could we have one discussion? I just wanted to ask
Discussion.
one question, if that's all right. Does Steve have a recommendation? I don't know.
No, I don't.
You don't,
I think you have
okay.
3 excellent candidates.
Okay, that's all I needed, needed to know. Could we have a discussion on this just for 1 second?
Sure.
I read all of the resumes of the 2 new applicants, as well as Mr. Lapre.
Right.
And I've always been, we are so lucky to have people that want to serve on these boards, because a lot of times it's like pulling teeth trying to get people to. And I'd love to have alternates on these boards. Now, I don't know if by statute or by town charter or whatever, we cannot do this with the Advisory Board of Public Works, but I
think if you're looking to me to answer
Well, I
that,
am looking
under
to
the,
you.
under the charter, it
Yeah.
does not include,
Okay.
contemplate alternates on this particular board.
Okay, all right. See, I'm a big on experience too, but, okay.
Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. If you give me a few minutes to express my views on what I'm about to say, I'd appreciate it. On the appointments as a whole, and to Mrs. Hull's motion, I'm going to be voting no. And I will be voting no subsequently on the rest of the appointments as well. The reasoning behind that is that we, as the governing board of the Board of Selectmen, I feel that we should be promoting this search for all of the appointments a little bit more than what we do now. So my view on this one motion right now is that I will be voting no, because I do feel that we need to start having a larger audience, knowing that there are jobs available either through Facebook or the website, other than just relying on an ad in the paper. So, and I've been a big advocate for this with Steve 3 years ago when we started this through the thing. So, for this motion, as well as the rest of them, I will be voting no.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't understand that. You're voting no,
I'm voting no for the appointment.
right, and
And then on all subsequent ones, I will be voting no also, because I don't think that we've advertised well enough on all the
so
appointments.
you're gonna be voting no on all appointments?
That's correct.
All right. And it's something to think about, the different ways we can reach people. Clearly, the paper is reaching new folks, as we've had new people apply to these boards over the last year. But I think, it's maybe worth looking town website or other means to advertise, to Paul's point. But we have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor of appointing David West to the advisory board?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All in favor? All no. Great, thank you, Phyllis. Next is the appointment to the Recreation Commission. We have one name, Jean Stinson.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Second.
Move to appoint Ms. Stinson, seconded by Betsy, seconded by Phyllis. All in favor? Aye.
One no.
But one no.
One no. I'm sorry, yep.
Thank you.
The next is the appointments to the Conservation Commission. We have 3 names that have been submitted: David Peterson, Leah Tyhatch, and Frank Calandra.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye with Paul, no. The next is 3 appointments to the Board of Appeals. We have Kimberly Hackett-Fowley, James McBain, and Richard Baird.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
With Paul, no. 3 appointments to the Permanent Building Committee: Philip Renzi, James Lapre, and Joseph Bertrand.
Move approval.
Moved
Second.
by Pat, second by Betsy. All in favor? Aye. With Paul, no. Sure.
That's the same James Lapre that was applying for,
Yes.
That's right, so
Yeah, it
he's
is.
on the
Right.
building
Okay.
committee.
Right.
thank you.
Yep.
He's on the building committee now. as well.
Right, was he on the building committee
Yes.
before?
Yes, he
Yep.
was,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
He was on 2.
Okay.
Yep. Appointment to the Commission on Disability Issues, we have one name, Jean Moulton.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Betsy, all in favor?
Aye.
With Paul, no. Appointment to the Veterans Advisory Board. Again, one name submitted, Pamela Hart.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and Pat and Paul, no. One name, Human Rights Commission for a 1-year term, David Watts Jr.
So moved.
Moved by Betsy.
Second.
Second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, with Paul, no. Appointment to the Capital Planning Committee, one name, Philip Renzi.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Phyllis, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and Paul, no. And the last one is appointment as a teller to Precinct 1, Kathleen Marino.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Phyllis, second by Betsy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and Paul, no. And just for folks watching, all these people have submitted letters. Many have submitted their resumes and explained why they want to be a part and to volunteer for our town. Okay. Moving to the action items, 5A, a request from Sharon Gilly, the library director of the Beebe Memorial Library, to donate library discards to the Friends of the Library.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Tiz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that's in favor. That's in further into the book sale that's coming up shortly. 5B, approval of sale of 23 Eaton Street. I'm going to send over to Steve.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As the board may recall, we had some tax title property at 23 Eaton Street, which we did go out to bid with a couple of restrictions. Number one, that it could only be a 1 or a 2 family. It couldn't be a 40B project. It couldn't be a parking lot. We wanted to make sure we kept the feeling of that neighborhood, which is all 1 and 2 families. So anyways, we went out to bid. We received 7 bids, with the highest bid coming in at $400,001. It is my suggestion that the board accept the highest bid for this property, and Attorney Mullen has already reviewed the purchase and sale agreement. Closing date, bless you, is scheduled for the 10th day of June, and if so desired, I would, if this is approved, we could get signatures tonight and we could move this along.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Betsy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Great job.
Nice job, Steve.
We had 7 bids, and
Yeah.
really came in a little bit higher than I thought. Actually, Carol Antonelli deserves the credit, because she put the bid
That's
package
7 more
together.
than, that's 7 more than we had on that place in Stoneham.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving to 5D, which is the fire truck, 20 years maximum useful life. Steve?
Yeah, the reason why this is important is, as the board may recall, town meeting did approve the purchase of a fire pumper. And when we go out, we ban it for the first year, which is kind of a short-term loan, then we roll it over to a bond. This will be paid within our regular bond payments. But in order to bond, we need to give a life of this. We have to actually state that this is, we feel that the useful life of this is 20 years, so we can extend to a 20-year bond. It's a good time to borrow, rates are low. So my suggestion, and the suggestion of bond counsel, is that we do make this determination that we feel this fire pumper will be good for 20 years.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Tiz, to approve the pumper life's approval for 20.
The fire truck's approval.
The fire trucks?
That's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's the pumper that we approved.
We've already
Yes,
approved
Right,
it,
We
yeah.
have, yep.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, excellent.
Recusing.
Yes, with a recusal.
Thank you.
Moving to licenses and permits. In your package, there is an application for license to the Road Dog Peddler for Will Bethune to work. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's the slush.
Yeah.
Slush cart. Moved by Paul,
Paul.
second by Betsy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we also have a motion for a common victual license, the Charm Thai Bistro at 412 Main Street. I think it's a new,
This is taking over the place that is next door to where the ski shack was.
Right.
Rumor has it that maybe there's some renovations scheduled for there shortly too. We can only hope.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Good.
The ski shack, Steve?
Next to the ski shack, yeah.
No, the renovation you're talking about.
At the ski shack
At
as
the
well.
ski-
yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw that.
And the woman that comes in from the Thai restaurant is very charming. We've met her a couple of times.
excellent,
Is that a play on words?
That's the play on
Hence
words.
You
the
know,
name.
isn't he funny?
nice. Do we have a motion? I'm sorry.
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second by Betsy, to approve the victual license for the
Next.
Charm Thai Bistro. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. For the public hearing, we need to set a date of May 9th at 2016 at 7:40 PM for the request from the WMGLD to locate poles, wires, cables, and fixtures, including the necessary anchors, guys, and other sustaining and protecting fixtures to be owned and used by the petitioner along the following public way: Lowell Street between Quantipout Parkway and Main Street, approximately 39 feet northwesterly of pole number 72, place 1 pole to be numbered pole 72 and a half. We're just setting the meeting, the
So
public
moved.
hearing.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. I think that's it. We have a correspondence of Ronald Schneider, who is retiring from being I'm losing the word, Precinct 1. A poll worker, thank you, there you go. A poll worker from Precinct 1. We accept it with thanks for his years of service. Comments? Paul?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First of all, I want to congratulate Pat for his outstanding run at the marathon this year. Another fabulous job, I hear.
Thank you.
Proud of you doing that. What's this now, the third? Fifth? There's been 5 so far. Wow, time flies. And you're flying every time you're increasing your race time as well, too. So that's good.
Thank
and
you.
how many marathons have you run so far?
There must be something else you want to talk
No, I
about.
want to talk about this right now, but that's fine. So how many is
That's
this?
my
been?
8th overall.
8 so far. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you.
Also, just something, it's just a public service announcement right now. Saturday is the Blossoms event downtown, maybe to all the people listening on the outside. If you have time to participate, tickets are still on sale. It's a great night. We went over the whole facility this evening before this meeting. There will be plenty of food there, live entertainment, silent auctions. It's always been a great event each year. So if you have the opportunity to join us on Saturday, please do so. Tickets are on sale at the BB Library. Thank you.
Phyllis?
I just have one comment to make. I received my water and sewer bill this week. Does anybody know, have the rates gone up? It seems like the water and sewer bill seems so much higher to me, to the people that I've talked to. Are we just consuming more water, or is the sewerage, or is there any reason why?
The rates are the same as they were set last summer, so that hasn't changed. I don't know individual.
I must be using a lot more water
Well,
than
you might have a
I
leak somewhere,
anticipate.
too.
Yeah.
Okay,
might-
that's all, I was just wondering, because there seems to be such a jump.
You might have a leak somewhere, too.
Yeah. Anyway.
But if you can bring it in, we can have them look at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything else, Phyllis? No? Good. Pat? Jumping over you.
I just want to wish all my friends here good luck tomorrow, and everyone running. I know that there'll be some new faces at the next meeting, no matter what, and I want to wish my good friend Tiz the best of luck and thank him for his service to the town. He's been a fantastic board member, friend, and hope to see you around town. And like I said, I wish all the rest of the people running, especially those, my friends at the table, best of luck tomorrow.
Tiz?
Well, first of all, this is my last meeting as a member of this board, and it's been a very gratifying 6 years that I've sat here. First, I want to thank my family for their support. I want to thank everybody on this board for their support. I don't know if I could have ran without, the support of my family and some of the people that helped me on this board, and some prior members as well. So I want to thank Steve for his leadership. Hell of a town administrator. He's always had my undying support. I know he does a great job, so I know this town is in good hands. I'd like to thank the members that currently sat and the members that I have sat with on this board. In the immortal words of the Grateful Dead, What a
Yes.
long, strange trip.
Oh, yeah.
This is for sure.
Steve, now you can't use that at town meeting. He's running
great.
against the wind.
And lastly, I need to thank the citizens of Wakefield for putting their trust in me to sit on this board, and hopefully I've made the right decisions while I've been here. So thank you. I won't be disappearing. I'm still be around town, so thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
A bit ado. Thank you.
I would like to say one other thing.
Sure.
It's really been great for me sitting beside Tiz. He's a calming factor. Sometimes I come in and I'm sort of like exasperated and I say, I'm gonna do this, and I do ask his opinion, and he's been great. He's been great on this board and great as a companion sitting here working with him.
Thank you, fellas.
Yeah, well, don't forget the food pantry. That's always in order, and I did want to congratulate Patty on his run, marathon run, which I think is great. I would encourage everyone to get out and vote tomorrow. I've always considered voting to be a right and a privilege. And I know the weather's going to be miserable, but you know, for the 5 minutes it's going to take you, I think you'll feel a lot better after you do vote. And if you would indulge me just a couple of minutes of something personal. This is a very bittersweet meeting for me. It could be my last meeting after 12 years on the Board of Selectmen. And it's been a hoot. I don't know what else to say. You know, starting back in 2005. And I've sat with people that I never would have met. I've sat with older friends that I've known forever. And I've met new friends, made new friends with Phyllis. Who would have thunk, you know? I mean, we're so opposite in some ways, politically. Tiz, I never would have met you, Patty. We came along, Ian I've known, Paul, and so forth. And it's really been a wonderful experience, both with the people that are here on the board today and those that I've served with over the past 12 years. Sherry's new. I wouldn't have met Sherry but for here. And I can't thank you people enough for your friendship and support and patience in dealing with me, which sometimes takes quite a bit. You know, I have a magnet at home that says living with an Irishman requires patience. But last but by no means least, actually next to last, Mark Sardella, who's always done a wonderful, fair job with this board. And over the years, I think everyone here appreciates it. You've been a very fair reporter, and I congratulate you and thank you on that. And last but by no means least, my dear friend, former fellow selectman, and now town administrator, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
I can say no more. Thank you so much. Worst case scenario, I'm back here for another year. Thank you.
Steve?
Just a couple of quick things, Madam Chair. I was able last week to take part in a couple of exercises. One was the active shooter exercise up at the vocational school, which Mark Sardella covered very well. In fact, he and I got to ride shotgun, so to speak, but they didn't give us any guns, which is the one complaint I had about the day. But when I tell you that our first responders and the police that were here tonight, what they are training for is so real world of what could happen. So that was quite eye-opening to me, and I really appreciate the fact that Chief Smith invited me and that he has his guys and women officers training for every possible scenario. And then they talked about it. They went and they had a debriefing and say, well, what happened here, what happened here? And to me, it was very eye-opening. And I think it's just great, and I don't think every community does that, and that's why our police officers and our police chief is special. We also had an emergency preparedness drill up there. This board may remember a few years ago we had to distribute water when the MWRA main trunk went down there in Waltham, I think it was. And you know what? We pulled that together and it was fine, but we're trying to learn how do we do these things better and had stations set up and everything. So I think this is really what our department heads try to do and try to make sure that we can service the town the best that we can. I do want to wish the board members that are running tomorrow, good luck. We'll see you back here at our next meeting and keep going forward. And I do want to say a couple of words about Tiz. I've really enjoyed working with Tiz over the last 6 years, and I know that we're friends and we'll see each other after this as well. A couple of things that Tiz was really involved in at the forefront in as a board member. He was really one of the main cogs that helped settle a pretty tough contract negotiation. And it was Tiz who stood up at town meeting and supported that. And really, we got a very good deal for a very good police department, and Tiz was really a big part of that. The other thing is that Tiz was a very big part of getting this town into the GIC. He was there for the votes, came there and spoke on it, and really set us forward. Not an easy thing to do. So I do want to thank you and for your tutelage and your time on the board, and I appreciate it. And I know your family will be happy that you're home all the time. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Ms. Angeles, one last thing. I neglected to because I was talking about myself. But I wish my fellow board members the best tomorrow. I truly do. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Regardless of what happens tomorrow, the makeup of our board is going to look different with the loss of Tiz. And, I've heard some people say that everyone at our selectmen meeting should talk and contribute, and some certainly talk more than others. But Tiz, I found when you talk, it is thoughtful, it is calming. That was a perfect word, Phyllis. You are smart, you are kind to people. And I noticed that right when I started, how kind you were to people that came asking for something that perhaps we wouldn't vote for, but you let them talk. You weren't cutting them off if we were past 10 seconds, you let people talk. That's important, that people feel like they have a voice. So I appreciate learning that from you, and you're certainly going to be missed at this table, although not around town. And I think hopefully what our one new board member, however new board members we have, will appreciate that this board, for at least as long as I've been on it, has been civil. We've worked with respect to one another. We might not always agree with each other, but in my time, we have not had an argument on TV. We have not been disrespectful with each other. So in a time when civility is not that common, certainly in politics, I think we do a very nice job, and I hope that continues. And just please vote, regardless of who you vote for. You have to vote. The weather's going to be miserable tomorrow, but we need to. If we have 10% of the folks voting, that's just pathetic. So everyone can get out and vote. Phyllis.
I do want to say, regardless of what happens tomorrow, I feel as though this board that I've been on has been so respectful to me, and no matter what I asked for, or whether you agreed or disagreed, I have never worked with a group of people who have respected me and have been, so I will miss you if I'm not back here.
Hopefully. Okay, and I can't even talk about Betsy not sitting beside me, but she'll still be a large part of the town. I think that's it.
Yep.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Betsy, second by Tiz.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.